Headphones on, the whispers begin.
Why did the cameras keep showing the same man every night when the access logs swore no one had entered? I worked the graveyard shift in a newly renovated municipal records building. 6 floors of glass, steel, and fluorescent quiet. My job was simple: monitor cameras, walk the floors, write reports. The building was sealed after midnight. No late workers, no cleaners. The access system was updated, tested, signed off. Every door had a timestamp, every elevator a record. That was the comfort of the place. Everything left a trace. On my 3rd week, I noticed him on camera 14. A man standing at the end of the 3rd floor corridor under the emergency exit sign. He wore dark clothes that absorbed the light, hands in his pockets, posture patient. He did not move. The corridor was empty on my walkthrough 10 minutes earlier. I rewound the footage. He appeared between frames, as if the camera blinked and he was there. No door opened. No elevator stopped. I flagged it as a glitch and kept working. But the next night, there he was again. Same spot, same stillness. The timestamp showed he stood there for hours. The access logs remained clean. No badge swipes, no forced doors. I walked the 3rd floor twice. The corridor smelled of paint and ozone. No man. Over the following nights, the man migrated. Camera 7 showed him near the archive vault. Camera 22 caught him beside the stairwell on 5. Always alone, always motionless, always absent when I arrived. The building felt smaller each shift, like the walls had leaned in. I began to dread the moment a monitor would refresh and place him somewhere new. I started documenting every appearance, times, cameras, durations. The pattern tightened. He was closer to the security office each night. The last place he appeared before the feed cut to static was always just outside my door. Sleep thinned me. I drank bad coffee and felt watched even in the restroom, even when the monitors were clear. I tested the doors myself, slamming them, watching the logs populate in neat rows. The system worked. That was the worst part. One night, I found a maintenance hatch ajar above the 3rd floor ceiling. The renovation had left a honeycomb of crawl spaces and cable trays. I followed the dust trails, my flashlight catching scraps of insulation pressed flat, the marks of someone moving slowly to avoid noise. The air was hot and tasted metallic. I imagined a squatter living between floors, learning blind spots, studying my routines. It was plausible. It was human. It terrified me more than any ghost story. Back in the office, I reviewed older footage, weeks back, months. The man appeared long before I was hired. Same clothes, same stance. The building had watched him longer than it had watched me. Then I noticed something else. In the reflections on the polished floors, in the glass of the display cases, his outline bent the light in a familiar way. A tilt of the shoulders, a stiffness in the left knee. I pulled my personnel file from the secure drive. My photos stared back with the same posture, the same dark uniform issued on my first day. I compared timestamps. On nights the man stood closest to the office, the system recorded 2 active logins under my ID. One at the desk, one nowhere. I checked the camera that faced my own workstation. The feed showed me seated, writing reports, unmoving. The clock ticked. The man stood behind the door outside the frame. I rewound. I fast-forwarded. The seated figure never shifted. The man outside never entered. The access logs updated again. Another entry under my name. Another exit. I felt the pressure then, a certainty settling like a weight. The building was not being invaded. It was being rehearsed. I followed the crawlspace map to a narrow service corridor behind the security office, a place the cameras skipped to save bandwidth. The door there was unmarked, its handle polished by use. Inside, a chair faced a bank of monitors wired directly into the system, looping footage with clinical precision. The chair was warm. On the desk lay my notebook, filled in my handwriting, documenting a plan to create alibis, to be seen without entering, to learn when no one would look. The last page listed times and places, a schedule that ended with tonight. The monitors refreshed. Camera 14 showed the corridor outside the office. The man stood there, hands in pockets, patient as ever. The access log recorded an exit under my name. The door behind me clicked, sealing with the soft certainty of a system that always worked.